Details and putting focus on that. Now shifting our focus to other developments, the Union Cabinet has approved the implementation of the 8th Pay Commission. The commission will revise the salaries of nearly 50 lakh central government employees. The decision will also benefit 65 lakh pensioners by revising their allowances as well. The 8th Pay Commission will not only lead to the increased salaries of the central government employees, but also have revised the dearness allowances. Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnav has announced that the cabinet decision said the commission was likely to be formed by 2026 and reiterated that the recommendations of the 7th Pay Commission had already been implemented. Senior economist Sharat Kohli is joining me live on the broadcast. And in fact, but before that, let me also take the viewers through the details of the 8th Pay Commission and what it means essentially. While the Union Cabinet has approved to set up the 8th Pay Commission to revise the salaries of central government employees and allowances of the pensioners, nearly 50 lakh central government employees are going to in fact be at the helm of this benefit. A pay commission is constituted by the union government and the central government once every decade to review this and to look into the commission's in fact recommendations and to revise the salary of the structures of the employees is what we are given to understand at this point. In addition to the revising the salaries of the structure, each pay commission has a term of reference and which broadly defines its focus. Every commission that is put in perspective by the chronology of the number has the reference, the term of reference which is put with the recommendations. There are over 49 lakh central government employees and nearly 65 lakh pensioners which are going to be at the key focus of this very benefit of the hiked salary and the hike allowances. The 7th Pay Commission was set up in 2016 when its term will end in 2026. After 2026, another commission member is also going to be then set up. Employees of the PSU and the autonomous bodies and the Grameen Dak Sevaks are not under the remit of the 7th Pay Commission. This is also one of the latest takeaways of understanding the Pay Commission, the 8th Pay Commission which comes in force. Employee unions demands a 3.68 fitment of the factor, but the government decides on the fitment factor of 2.57. This is currently in fact the difference of the employee and the governments. This led the minimum basic pay to become as 18,000 per month is what we are learning at this point of time. The maximum salary became 2,50,000 and the maximum pension became 1,25,000 as per this. Senior economist Sharat Kohli is joining me live on the broadcast. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to us and giving us your time. The 8th Pay Commission is going to be in fact a big boost for the central government employees and the pensioners, also going to witness a huge hike in the allowances and the salary. How do you look at this bonanza for the central government employees, and till how much of an extent is this going to benefit that class which is currently employed and coming under this very scheme?
As far as the central government employees are concerned, it's a very welcome move. I spoke to a few ever since the declaration came. They were already in a celebratory mood, and it was much awaited. As you already said, this comes after a decade. This commission is formed after a decade, and the review is done after a decade. And a lot of things are going to be impacted. One of the things which economy at this point of time, which has resulted in a slowdown, bringing our GDP from 8.2 in last year to 6.4 in this year, has been slowdown in the consumption. So I think when money reaches the hands of these 1 crore 10 lakh people, I'm adding the employees and the pensioners. I'm approximating them, rounding them off. So 1 crore 10 lakh people add about 5 members to the family of each of these beneficiaries. So I count as about, let's say, 5 crore people are going to be benefited by this whole thing. So when money reaches the pockets of these 5 crore people through their, bread earners, the people who are employed, I think they're going to use this money to fulfill their unfulfilled, wishes. Whether it is in terms of consumption, whether it is in terms of white goods. Some people have plans of buying a car. Some people have plans to enhance their household budget. So I think that is one benefit, that it is going to overall boost the economy. So the timing of this particular announcement, I think, comes just before the budget, when we know that there is a need for a booster dose to the economy to boost consumption. This is going to directly benefit. Of course, a lot of these employees stay in Delhi. So with Delhi elections round the corner, I'm sure this is going to count on the voters also of Delhi about central government being concerned from them. Other than that, if you look at the fitment factor, I think the fitment factor, a lot of people want to know as to how the fitment factor is calculated. Now, it is taken on the basis of the inflation rate over all these years. It is taken on the basis of economic outlook of the country. And the third thing which is done is it is taken on the basis of how much load this is going to put on the fiscal balance sheet of the country. Because we should not forget, if your fitment factor is, let's say, 2.57, which means somebody earning 10,000 as basic is now going to get 25,600. So there's going to be an additional workload of 15,600 on the exchequer. So whether the fiscal, elbow room is there for the government to absorb this additional expenditure. So that is the third factor which is kept in mind. And of course, the cost of living, and another good thing which this is going to do is there is always a comparison between a government job and a private job. And it is often said that, government employees, they only have a limit up to which they can grow salary wise. They cannot grow beyond a level, which impacts the employability, which impacts the performance, the efficiency of the person. We often say that, that office looks like Sarkari, in a very bad way. This is said in a very bad way. Why? The reason is because the efficiency of the people is also dependent on the remuneration they are getting. So I feel if the remuneration is better, you will find that the central government, whole machinery will start functioning better. So I think in the interest of running the country better, in the interest of efficiency, these are the people who run the government. And I won't be wrong if I say these are the people who indirectly run the country, for that matter. So they will all be benefited. We will see more efficiency walking in, and which was high time. I mean, inflation rate has been on an average, let's say, 6% per annum. And if the salary remains the same for many, many years, obviously you don't end up saving anything. And there are a lot of central government employees who have, outstanding wishes of buying a house, buying a car, or they are unable to meet both the ends, and they also take loans. So I think this will give them a bit of a relief. And we are going to see better times as far as the central government employees are concerned. Although it is going to take effect, we should note, from 1/1/26, because the commission is now formed. It takes its time. There are multiple meetings held, consultations held, and finally, the effect comes into being from 1/1/26. But nevertheless, I think a beginning has been made. I already, Simran spoke to some of the central government employees. They were saying, from next year, we're going to get this salary. We have plans, we will probably have a slightly bigger house. Somebody said, I'm going to have a slightly bigger television at my home where I can probably watch NewsX better. And somebody said, I'm going to have my child put in a better school. So, it's basically upliftment of the standard of living of 1 crore 10 lakh people. And the interesting aspect is that the number of retired beneficiaries would be more than the number of working beneficiaries. But my only concern is that all the vacant positions in the central government, how quickly they will be filled up now, because the fiscal load is already going to come. So the new recruitment, whether they will be affected or not affected, or whether these people will be able to do job of 2 people now, where government doesn't need to recruit or fill up some of those vacancies, needs to be seen in the times to come, Simran.
Well, absolutely. In fact, senior economist Sharat Kohli there decoding for us as usual on the impacts of how the central government employees and the pensioners, so to be put in perspective, will be benefiting by the 8th pay commission. Very well. Thanks, in fact, for joining us and being with us. Now, it's time to shift our focus to other developments. Viewers, actor Kareena Kapoor